Hello and welcome to another First Descendant video. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into Serena, which was released in Season 2, Episode 2, Beyond the Void. She provides utility to the team by providing healing to herself and her allies, as well as shielding them when the need arises. She's also the first Descendant that can sustain flight through her abilities, and through this ability of sustaining flight, she can buff the weapon that she's currently wielding. So let's take a look into her abilities, starting with her passive. Her passive, called Divinity, Serena gains additional stat bonuses when firing a firearm in mid-air. That includes explosive weapons, accuracy increase, recoil reduction, and flat attack. Her first ability, Sacred Flame, sends out a wave of light in front of her, and which deals damage to enemies and a little bit of tick damage afterwards. Also gains Blessing, which is the healing factor, which we'll cover in the healing build later. Serena's second ability, Ascension, gives her the ability to open up her wings and reduce her gravity by 85%. While the skill is active, firearm attacks while in midair have additional effects depending on the rounds in use. However, jump and grapple hook charge times have been adjusted. This also drains your MP pool. Serena's third ability, Soar, when used in the ground, shoots up in the air and also does knockback and a little bit of damage to enemies. When used in mid-air, Serena moves quickly in the direction of the movement and reloads the current equipped weapon. Additionally, Serena's number of jumps is reset, and holding down the skill key increases the distance traveled. Serena's fourth ability, Redemption, when used on the ground, creates a shield and removes all debuffs on Serena and her allies within range, and grants Prayer of Redemption. When used in mid-air, grants Redemption's Judgment, which buffs her weapon damage output. At the time of this recording, Serena comes with two Transcendent Mods. The first one is Him. When used on the ground, creates a zone that increases the jump of all allies. When used in mid-air, Temper increases the movement speed of nearby allies and increases the maximum movement distance for Serena. The circle is affected by range mods. Her next Transcendent Mod is called Divine Surge. Flies forward, inflicting knockback on enemies in a path and deals a large amount of damage on landing. Additionally, creates a path of fire in her wake that deals continuous damage to enemies within range. This path of fire is affected by range mods as well. Alright, now that you have a basic understanding of Serena, let's go ahead and talk about some of these builds I have for you. First of all, we're going to be focusing on the fly ability, which will be focusing mainly on skill cost so we can do sustained flight much longer. For reactors, we have the Burning Singular Reactor, mainly just for our first ability, as you can see, is singular focused. So we want to have that, but the main thing is our sub-stats. The skill cost is really nice. I don't really care for Legion of Darkness, but this is the best one I have. I would say maybe cooldown or duration would be a good one to have for your secondary stat, but skill cost is the important one right here. 4-piece set of the Extending Armory set, mainly for skill cost, which is very nice, but then reloading in midair provides bullets since we're going to be doing damage from above. This is if you have a launcher like the Restored Relic, it gives you 5 ammo back when you dodge, which is nice. And it's just very nice to have, and the max HP is always good to have as the set bonus. Now for weapons, it's up to you on how you want. This is pretty much the run I have. I use Restored Relic mainly for my mobbing in the air. It's just very fun to see explosions and boom booms, and plus with her fly ability it gives more explosion damage and multi-hits, which pretty helps the Restored just shred through things. Now for our RK tuning, we're going to be focusing mainly on weapon attack, so we're going to be focusing more on the upper left corner of this tree, and so look for anything with this symbol, the enhanced firearm attack. We're just trying to take every node we can, and then we're going to go for this gold one. So anything multi-hit is nice, but we're just mainly trying to pass to every of these nodes here, and we have a plus a 15.2% explosion and firearm attack at the end of the day, which is pretty nice. Now let's take a look at our mods. We're going to be using the Him Transcendent Mod, which is just give us more mid-air maneuvering, and if we're on the ground we want to give our friends a little bit of a jump pad is very nice, but the increased maximum movement distance is very nice to traverse very quickly, and you can speed along, and mid-air maneuvering is just solid for this, and you can just have some really fun movement tech with this. Shot focus is going to be firearm attack, skill power. We don't really care about skill power, we're focused mainly on firearm attack, so shot focus is a good solid one to have. Auto immunity, just for the enemies are smart, they will shoot at you. So incoming damage modifier is nice, plus HP recovery, which ties in well with our first ability, a blessing. Now we want to do sustained flight. So how we're going to do this, we're going to be using weight the scales, max conservation, and strong immunities. All these have skill cost in their names, and this will help with reducing that MP drain as much as possible. And then we're just going to balance out with a little bit of HP, a little bit of cooldown with MP conversion, nimble fingers, focus on fire, and then we have our skill extension, mainly because of this buff that will buff us while we're in the air for more fireman damage. It's very nice to have. Now for our fellow, it's over a little bit important. You don't need it, but I find it's very helpful for sustain and damage. It's a new Vesper's hunting dog, which has the auto refill rounds. Your fellow automatically refills the rounds for your equipped weapon at regular intervals. And if you have your restored relic, it is 10 ammo just out of thin air, which is nice. But then when you dash, it gives you 5, so you're getting about 15 per extra ammo in the air out of the blue. It's very nice. So that is the build. We'll move on to the next one. All right, for the second build, we're going to be focusing mainly on healing. So we're going to be changing our reactor a little bit. We're going to be using a singular reactor again for our first ability, but we're going to be doing our skill duration up and skill cooldown instead of skill cost. Now for external components, we're going to be using the Ascending Armory set for skill cost, so we can spam more abilities faster. But again, the main thing for these components, make sure you have max HP. We'll go into a little bit more on why, but make sure every external component has max HP. You want to build it as much as possible. And that's why we're going to be using the Annihilation set, because they have base of max HP, but then it also gives a skill duration, which means we'll be able to heal much longer. Now, any weapon you can choose, but I would say Divine Punishment is a solid choice, mainly because when you recover an ally's HP, shield, or MP, it gives you praise to yourself, and praise also gives you skill cooldown modifier and cooldown modifier per stack. So that means you can spam your first ability much faster while you're healing people. So that is nice. But anything else weapon wise, you'll be good. For RK tuning, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be focused mainly on HP and shields. So as you can see, I've hit pretty much every HP node as much as possible, and a little bit of shields, and I'll show you why in a second, why that's important. But yeah, that should be good for 40 points. Now, if we go into here, why are we wanting to build HP? Mainly because if you read our first ability under Blessing, we have a duration of 12.9 seconds, which is nice, but the thing is, the healing recovery amount is based on your maximum HP. So if we build as much HP as possible, more healing out to your team. So that's why we're stacking HP as possible. For our Transcendent mod, we're going to be using him. Now, we're not going to be using this for traversal as much. For sure, the movement speed is nice for our allies, and the jump pad is just mainly just to help us traverse faster, and mid-air maneuvering is just really nice with her. Now, we're wanting to stack as much HP, so we're going to be using Overwhelming HP, which converts our maximum shields to HP. But if you want to build more shields into it with weight the scales, that converts that more max shields turns into more HP. So that's really nice. So that's why I was built shields as much as possible as well. Battle stamina, increase HP will just help with the HP buffing. Passionate sponsor, when buffing or recovering an ally, i.e. healing, creates a fireman attack damage and skill power modifier. Just a really nice support mod in general. Now we want to be able to spam our abilities as much as possible, so we're going to be using Nimble, MP Conversion, Focus on Fire, Focus Singular as our cooldown ones, and then we want Skill Extension so we can keep our duration up for that healing. Now, it's up to you on whether you want to choose your fellow. So you could use the Hagio Sheepdog because it has an intrinsic ability for fellow automatically heals their descendants every 30 seconds. So if you want to do more sustained healing for yourself as well as healing others, you could use this. But if you're wanting to go with a more aggressive healing style, you can get some refill rounds. So each of the fellows is up to you on how you want to do it. But let's go ahead and move on to the third build. All right, now we're gonna go into more of a damage focused build, and this is my crit build. We're gonna be still using the skill cooldown, skill duration one because that's the best one I have, but if you want to go for crit damage, definitely would go with that substat. For external components, we're actually going to be using the Slayer set because even though it's going to cost us more, our skill power is a plus 26% increase. So again, we're just trying to hit hard with our abilities, that is being our first and our fourth ability. For our arcade tuning, we're going to go more into focus on skill power and raw damage. So as you can see, we went into the upper right corner. For skill power, we have a little bit of critical hit damage, crit rate, which is nice, and we're focused mainly on the skill power right there. So just go into this tree and that should be able to cover most of it. For weapons, unfortunately, there's no weapon that helps with skill power for our singular ability skill, so pretty much any weapons is up to you on how you want to do that. In the fellow, I would say the Hagia Sheepdog might be good just because since you're going to be in the thick of things, just for healing ability and just keep you topped off. Now for the crit build, we're going to be using Divine Surge, which is the little dash forward and then the continuous wake because this thing hits like a truck. Mid-air maneuvering just as always. And we're going to be using the decimator when defeating an enemy inflicts with the debuff, skill power modifiers, so we're just going to be amping our damage output. Now we're going to use crit mods, so skill insight, emergency measures, front lines, and skill concentration, fire master just for our skill power increase, and singular specialist for our since our fourth ability is a singular focused ability. For cooldown a little bit, we're going to do a nimble fingers and cooldown. MP conversion for our cooldowns so we can spam our abilities a little bit more. Iron defense is very nice for defense since we're going to be in the thick of things, and our skill power modifier is just going to amp our damage output. So yeah, it's just going to be a fun one. As you can see right here, that's about we did 100k per tick, and then if we do a little dash forward, it pushes back. That was almost a 0.5 mil crit right there. As you can see, that was a 2 mil crit right there, 2 mil. So you can hit like a truck with that. I think I hit about 35k crit at one point, so it was pretty nasty, but as you can see, it's pretty good damage. So yeah, this one is good. Just be a reminder that you are at almost 3000 HP, so just be careful for your sustain right there. You're very low in HP, but enjoy smashing everything you see. All right, for this last build, it's going to be a slight modification from the crit build. We're still for our arcade tuning. We're still going to use the skill power one because it's going to be a skill based build. We're still going to use the skill duration, skill cooldown one. We're going to change our components a little bit here. We're going to do a skill cooldown 2-piece set from the Hunter Auxiliary, and then a 2-piece annihilation set with the skill duration, mainly because I was just messing around. I wanted to see, push the limits of this build and see I got cooldown, duration, and range as much as possible. So we have Divine Surge, which is the same one as our crit ones, mid-air maneuvering. Now the fun thing is we're going to be going for duration and all that, so battle stamina, skill extension, and then for cooldowns we have nimble, MP conversion focus, and focus on singular and fire right there. Now for range we have as well as duration, so stamina right there. And then for range we have maximize range, frugal mind, which MP skill cost, which is nice, so we can spam a little bit more range, and then skill expansion right there. So our abilities are going to be a little bit bigger. So, and then our fellow is up to you. Hagia's Sheepdog is good for sustain, since you could probably heal, but it's up to you on how you want to do that. So yeah, this one, it's just a much wider one. You're not going to do as much damage as the crit one, but it's still fun seeing such a large pool. As you can see here, it's very big. So you just have this large pool of fire that just dotted around the map and all that. So yeah, it's just fun. You're not doing as much damage, but it's a good mobbing build. Definitely fun to try out. So Thanks for watching this video, hopefully that helped, and please like and comment, and consider subscribing to the video. I appreciate it.